7:14 p.m. Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things as it relates to the meeting. The meeting is being, as you can see, live streamed via Zoom. We will be working with the city attorney to work on some council norms as it relates to how we interact with the live feed. But tonight, what we're asking, if you're on the live Zoom feed, if you have a comment or question, email the city clerk, and then we'll get it into the record. City clerk, would you give your email address, please?
clerk@cityofinkster.com.
All right, perfect then. Also, too, want to publicly thank Chief of Police. Our Chief Riley has retired in his service to us. I want to thank him for his service. And as you can see, we have installed Chief Ratliff as our new police chief. So we welcome Chief Ratliff to the meeting. All right, as we get moving right along, I don't see Pastor Oberman. She's supposed to do prayer tonight, so it's on you again. Thank you.
Let us pray. Father God, we come right now no other way but leading in your everlasting love. Realize, Father, we can't do nothing without you. So we come again, once again, asking you to continue to watch over us and guide us and lead us and give us that made up mind determination to spread love throughout this community. For each of you become that city of love. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Wimberly.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Washington.
Here.
Councilmember Watley.
Present.
Councilmember Chisholm.
Here.
Councilmember Shaw. You have a quorum.
All right, moving right into approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved and properly, it's been moved and properly supported. Any discussion outside of removing item A, if the head can turn it on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carried. Presentations, none. City clerk, public hearing?
Yes. So we have a proposed ordinance to repeal Inkster Ordinance number 879, which applies to Cherry Hill Senior Citizens Housing Development Service Charge in lieu of taxes.
What's your pleasure to open up the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
The support?
Support.
Moved and properly supported. Barring discussion, roll call, please. City clerk, to open up the public hearing. Roll call to open up the public hearing. Do we need a roll call to open up? We don't? Okay. Oh, I'm just moving too fast. All right then. All right, any questions from this body as it relates to the issue? This is a public hearing, right? Any questions, comments from this body? Hearing none, any questions, comments from the public as it relates to this item?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, is this
Ma'am?
something we spoke on a couple months ago, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am. And you want to give an explanation for the general
We'll
public?
try again.
Okay,
So
perfect.
back in December, this body passed an ordinance to put the family part of Cherry Hill onto a pilot program.
Okay.
So the senior portion of that building, thank you, will be coming off of the pilot. So in order to take it off, we need to
Okay.
repeal the ordinance that put it on.
Gotcha.
All right. Sounds like clear understanding. Any other comments or questions from this body or from the audience? Okay, and if you do have a question as it relates to the virtual audience, just feel free to, again, put it into the chat and then we'll respond at a later date. All right, motion to close public hearing? Oh, we don't need to do that. No, don't need to do none of that. Is that what we're saying?
We do need to
To close
close
it?
it,
Okay,
yes.
motion to close public hearing?
So move.
Your support?
Support.
All right, and we don't need a roll call.
No, we do need a vote.
On,
All in favor?
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, ayes have a motion carried. Moving right along, consent agenda now. Before we get to that, I know that, City Clerk, did you remove those minutes that you said you had wanted to remove? Because you had
So-
mentioned during,
Yeah, we have moved past it
Okay.
so quickly. The consent agenda,
did you want to remove those?
I want to remove item A and B.
Item A and B until,
So next meeting.
okay. So consent agenda, we're gonna remove the regular council minutes and the special council workshop minutes from January the 17th and January the 29th on the consent agenda. What's your pleasure?
Need a motion.
Motion on consent agenda to support the consent agenda?
With the A and B being removed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so move.
Is there support? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Roll call, please, City Clerk.
So, Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Washington. Councilmember Watley.
No.
Councilmember Chisholm.
No.
Councilmember Shaw. 4-2 vote.
All right, motion carries. Moving right along. Any appointments for boards and commissions? I know that as it relates to the Board of Review, Madam Clerk, you needed those to be
Yes,
installed.
the Board of Review officers are up for their annual installment.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
So,
did all of them want to be reinstalled?
yes, the only difference is,
Ned Sanders is gonna become the alternate and Peggy's gonna become
a regular.
person.
The regular. Do we have to vote on them separately, or can we do it by acclamation?
Can do it by.
Do them all together.
I'll make a move that we reappoint all the commissioners for the Board of Review in acclamation.
Support? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have a motion carries. Do we have any others for boards and commissions?
I'll have to double check, Mr. Mayor. I believe Luana Abney Mitchell mentioned that she would like to join the Beautification Committee. I'm sorry, Commission on Aging. I will double check though.
All right, then you'll double check that one. Speaking on Commission of Aging, Ruth Williams is asked to serve. Commission of Aging, you say yeah? Would you like to make that motion?
Support.
Motion, you need a motion. A motion for Ruth Williams to serve on Commission on Aging?
Yeah.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have a motion carries. Anyone else? All right, hearing none, you should have a resume for Juan Bradford in your packet. I'm looking to appoint Juan Bradford into the pension board. And he has graciously agreed. And I'm looking for a motion for that.
So move.
I love it. Any support? All right, it's been moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
All right, one nay for the record. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Bradford. Matter of fact, I believe you have a meeting tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Officer Snyder, if you could fill me in. on the times and all that stuff where he needs to be. All right, perfect. Now, oh, you can tell him that up, it's your duty, please. Please tell him.
Mr. Bradford, if you would come see me in the clerk's office tomorrow, if you have time, before you go into your new duties, to be sworn in.
You need to do that early. I believe the meeting's at 1, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's at noon.
What time is it?
It's at noon.
You
You might
said,
want to call Cynthia.
well, you
he
said
said-
noon. I mean, I know that
She
you're the
said,
council
she called me
representative.
and told me it was at noon on Tuesday.
So you guys make sure that y'all make.
It's
okay.
usually at 1 o'clock. Our
Okay.
meetings are usually Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Gotcha.
But we didn't go last week, it was canceled, so they changed it to Tuesday at noon.
Gotcha. Sound like you own it. All right, then.
So
Let's just follow up and make sure.
if he has time after this meeting, we could swear him in. If you have time.
Got that,
after
Commissioner
this-
Bradford?
If you have time after this meeting, I can swear you in.
All right, move right along. Any others? Hearing none, the chair would like to appoint Walter Cooper to the Beautification Committee. Walter serves in our AP department. Have a motion on that? There's support? Moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Walter will be joining the Beautification Committee. Also, Denise Johnson, who's currently serving as our, what is she, our deputy? What is she serving as?
She's our elections clerk.
Our elections clerk. Would like to join the Beautification Committee as well. Have a motion for that? It's been moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion carries. Move right along. Anything else? All right, hearing none, moving right into previous business, City Clerk.
So, previous business item A is to consider authorizing the administration to enter into a partnership with AAW Infrastructure Partners, L3C, to establish an EV program, including electric vehicle charging stations within the city limits.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Moved and properly supported. Discussion. The gentleman is here tonight, I believe. In the front row, if you would like for him to approach for any questions, he's here tonight. Sir, anyone? Yes, sir, go ahead. Sir? No cost to the city. All right, anything else? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item B, please.
Item B is for this body to consider authorizing WCAR assessors to remove Cherry Hill family from the ad valorem tax rolls effective 12/31/21. They are now on a pilot.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. City Clerk, first reading, please.
The ordinance we have for consideration this evening is ordinance to repeal Inkster Ordinance number 879. An ordinance to repeal Inkster Ordinance number 879 enacted August 3rd, 2020 to rescind the service charge in lieu of taxes pursuant to the provision of the State Housing Development Authority Act of 1966. The city of Inkster ordains the ordinance shall be known as cited as the repeal of the Cherry Hill senior citizens housing development service charge in lieu of taxes. It is acknowledged, let me back up a moment, section 2 of the preamble. It is acknowledged that it is the proper public purpose of the state of Michigan and its political subdivisions to provide housing for its low-income persons and families and to encourage the development of such housing by providing for a service charge in lieu of property taxes in accordance with the State Housing Development Act of 1966. The city is authorized by this act to establish or change the service charge to be paid in lieu of taxes by any or all classes of housing exempt from taxation under this act at any amount it chooses, not to exceed the taxes that would be paid but for this act. It is further acknowledged that such housing for persons and families of low income and a public necessity is a public necessity, and as the city will be benefited and improved by such housing, the encouragement of the same by providing real estate tax exemption for such housing is a valid public purpose. The city acknowledges that a large community development group has applied for and been granted a senior citizen and disabled housing tax exemption for the Cherry Hill Place Senior Apartments. Therefore, the service charge in lieu of property taxes is no longer required. Section 3, repeal of Inkster Ordinance number 879. Inkster Ordinance number 879 enacted August 3rd, 2020, establishing a payment in lieu of taxes for the Cherry Hill Senior Citizen Housing Development is hereby rescinded. Hereby rescinded and is no longer in force or effect. Section 4, property included in ordinance. The property affected by the repeal of Inkster Ordinance number 879 is the property located at 29477 Cherry Hill, Inkster, Michigan, 48141. Parcel number 4400199000103, known as the Cherry Hill Senior Citizens Housing Development. Section 5, retroactive effect. This repeal of Inkster Ordinance number 879 shall have retroactive effect to December 31st, 2021. The service charge in lieu of property taxes on the Cherry Hill Senior Citizens Housing Development expires on December 31st, 2021. Section 6, the severability. The various sections and provisions of this ordinance shall be deemed to be severable, and should any section or provision of this ordinance be declared by any court of competent jurisdiction to be unconstitutional or invalid, the same shall not affect the validity of this ordinance as a whole or any section or provision of this ordinance, other than the section or provision so declared to be unconstitutional or invalid. Section 7, the inconsistent ordinances. All ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent or in conflict with the provision of this ordinance are repealed to the extent of such inconsistency or conflict. Section 8, effective date of ordinance. This ordinance shall have effect upon publication. The first reading was held today, February 7th, 2022.
All right, that was through. Moving right along. Off into new business.
So,
I'll steal your. I was doing the same thing. I think this one is it right here.
So number 9, new business, section 8, item A was removed. Item B is for this body to consider authorizing administration to award a contract to L. D'Agostino and Sons Incorporated for the combined project of Avondale Road reconstruction and reconstruction of Northwood, Center, and Eastwood, and select alleys in the amount of $10,060,802.78 plus a 15% contingency of $1,509,197.22 totaling $11,570,000.
What's your pleasure?
So move.
Support.
Been moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carries.
Next item for consideration is authorizing the approval to purchase one structure located at 3934 Harrison Street, Inkster, Michigan. Parcel is located on the west side of Harrison between Carlisle and Andover Street for $3,000.
What's your pleasure? Moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Just wanted to, just for the record, this property was on the demo list. It's the old Knox store. So instead of being torn down, we're looking to redevelop it. So it will be hopefully redeveloped into a good use for that area. Similar to what Ms. Knox used to do. You guys remember Knox store in that area. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Next item for consideration is the approval to purchase one structure and one vacant parcel adjacent on Isabel Street. The structure and parcel are located on the east side between Chestnut and Beach.
What's your pleasure?
So move, Chairman.
Your support? Moved and properly supported. Any discussion?
I just have a question
Please.
through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
It says $2,000 here. Is this reflect the new fee that you spoke of the other day? Remember we were raising
Yes, ma'am.
the structures from 500 to 1,000?
Right, the non-buildables to 1,000, buildables to 1,500.
So this is a non-buildable lot?
So this is actually a structure already exists on it that was on the demolition list.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our employees actually wanted to purchase it to fix it up for their family home.
So this money reflects 15,000 for the structure and 5,000 for the,
2,000 altogether, ma'am.
yeah,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
just seeing if that's all together, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. City Clerk.
Next item for consideration is approval to purchase 3 vacant parcels for $4,000. The parcels are located on the west side of Keewatin Street between Cherry and Beach.
What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
And just like Councilwoman Wiley, you were saying, as it relates to this cost, so 4,000, so it's 1,500 is 2 buildable lots next to the person's home already. They wanted to build another home next to their mom's home on Keewatin. So it's 2 buildable lots and then 1 non-buildable lot. So that would be the 4,000.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have a motion carries.
The next item for consideration is authorization for the administration to petition the state of Michigan for forgiveness of the remaining Inkster school debt of approximately 16 million.
Mr.
What's your pleasure?
So moved, Mr. Chair, with some enhancements to the language.
Of course. Is there support?
Support.
Give us the enhancement, sir.
I was gonna, just, looking at it now, ask that it says, approximately $16.8 million in school debt as of May 2022 per the House Fiscal Agency. Because that is the agency that quoted those numbers, and they said that $25.5 million would be paid in May of this year.
For the House Fiscal Agency.
Yep. That way they're not just necessarily going off our word, they will, revert back to the House Fiscal Agency to get that final figure as well. And then that just, in my own head, don't leave us hanging. They said, well, you only asked for approximately 16 million, so we left you with the other 800,000.
Correct. Now, I guess that's a question too, though, Councilman, because from my understanding, when we originally got some of the debt, well, not originally, the second time around, when we got the second part, we got 25 million eliminated, and it was supposed to be the intent to have it all eliminated at one time. You had 10 left, and then from that time, that was a year ago, a little less than a year ago, it's been added another 6 million in interest.
Yeah, it was.
Is that what I'm looking at?
That vote took place in October of 2021, but the monies aren't to even be paid out until May of 2022. So whatever the interest rates are accruing in that, and I don't know if that 10 million was the exact final number or not. When I did reach out to the House Fiscal Agency, I was talking to them. They said the 16.8 million at this time is based on the formulas they're doing right now. And once that 25 million is paid in May. But if inflation hit or interest rates in the markets and stuff like that change, it could go up. It might decrease by a little bit, but that's what it's all dependent upon. And the equations they're doing right now does estimate 16.8 million.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. But wow, 6 million in interest. Oh my God.
I mean, the way
That's how we got up to the 44 million and would have paid it off to 2052 or something like that.
I think the term they use is importuity. I'm saying that right?
Wow.
Where you almost never pay it off?
It's called usury.
So who?
Usury.
Usury.
Oh, no doubt about that. I totally agree with that 100%. Okay, so we'll definitely add that. I mean, of course, we're gonna have it definitely gotta have some more meat to it so as it relates to the letter, but we wanted to be able to have a resolution from this body to attach to that. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, getting off into public comment. Did you have a chance to put any public participation forms up? Okay, all right then, perfect, okay. At this time, do we have anyone who would like to address this body? Anyone? Okay. Now,
I'll have them address this later on.
yes, so, because this is our first kind of virtual, what we're doing is a kind of hybrid, as you can see, this is a live feed, we're trying to see, so next time around, we'll have between Steve and I, we'll have our laptops up, we'll be able to interact with them, and then I'll be able to call on them with some type of form so it can be heard by everybody. So today, we're just asking, if you're on virtual, you have a question or comment, address it to our city clerk, or just drop it in the chat, and we'll get back to you another time. All right, city clerk, you got anything for us?
No, I don't.
Treasurer, you got anything for us? All right, Mayor and Council. Let's go ahead. No, Mayor Pro Tem, I know you said you had to leave.
I'm okay.
Okay, all right, good then. Councilman Wiley, you want to start?
Sure
I know
do.
you're coming out of the closed session going, so let you go ahead.
No, I am concerned
Okay,
because of the, I guess I want to know what was the reason for the retirement, because there was no indication of that in our Saturday meeting or anything of that nature. What was the reason given for him being allowed to retire?
that, you're talking about our chief of police?
Yes,
Chief Riley?
Chief Riley.
Okay. I have to defer to our city attorney on that.
Well, the chief, like every other department head, serves at the pleasure of the mayor. I wasn't privy to the discussions between the mayor and the chief, but I would say there is an employment agreement between the chief and the city, and the terms of those. I did receive a phone call from the chief afterwards, and he indicated that he is not looking for rancor, but as of it stands right now, the terms of his departure has not been resolved. So I would caution you to say anything that might negatively affect the terms of the negotiation of that departure.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to find out why the chief left, because I understand as a contract
And what I'm saying is
employee.
I would counsel
as
against
a-
discussing the terms. of
I
the
tried
nature
to
of the
discuss it
employment.
in closed
Well, it's
session
not
and you
proper for
said
closed
not.
session.
So
not
then
proper
it's
for
proper
closed
here.
session.
Where do I get to suggest it at?
You, as a council member, are free to discuss what you like, but I'm saying as the city legal representative of the city, I think you put the city in a bad position to discuss the terms of his departure.
But that is one of our concerns. As fiduciaries of this city, he was under contract. The mayor has done something I've never heard of before as a line of succession. And if that line of succession includes a pay grade, then the terms of the
Have you seen his
police
employment
department
agreement?
contract, yes,
Okay.
some parts of it, and I too talked to the chief, okay? So the things he said to me are not actually what's being portrayed here.
Well, I
But-
started off by saying I wasn't part of the discussions between the chief and the mayor.
And I wasn't either, which is why I'm asking. But
And I'm
everybody seems to
advising-
be,
I'm advising that
Afraid
the
to
terms
give
not be
them.
discussed until it's resolved. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying, but just say it then. If there's no
The chief-
problem,
the
just say
chief-
it.
The chief and I had a discussion and he chose to retire. And, you know, again, as I talked to him, as a man face to face, he said that he was going to retire, and I gave him that option to retire. So that's where we're at with it.
Okay, as the chief said, he understood that no reason was given to him other than we were going in a different direction. And I'm concerned about a direction you go in where chief of police is not a part of it. Which brings me to my second point.
Yeah.
His contract states something like 6 months severance.
Correct.
And if we are paying a current chief a chief's salary, and for the next 6 months, we will be paying the former chief, that impacts on our funds. Now, are we doing that?
Yes, you are, but you don't have a assistant chief serving right now, so it will definitely balance itself out, and then it will actually save us money.
So we're paying 2 chief salaries.
Well, yes, you are. You have to pay, well,
And
again,
how does
I
that
would have to, I
impact
would
the-
again defer to the attorney. I mean, you know, I think we heard what I just said, but
And-
as it relates to the contract and the severance, yes, 6 months.
And
severance.
how does that impact our already anemic budget?
You're actually gonna be saving money.
And, go ahead.
Oh, it was no, that's it, point blank. You're gonna save money because you don't have an assistant chief in that position.
Okay, now back to this line of succession. Where did that come from? I've never heard of that.
I didn't say that.
Normally, when we do a chief, applicants are asked to apply. They apply. There is a system put together that vets these people, and then a determination is made. Is there a reason that wasn't done this time?
Again, I defer to the attorney and the attorney. I think, would you just speak on what my rights are as the chief administrative officer?
As the chief administrative officer of the city, you have the right to appoint your department heads.
And that's what I did. Chief
Okay.
Riley served at my pleasure, and now Chief Ratliff serves at my pleasure.
Well, just to avoid the appearance of improprieties, it would seem that you're making all these decisions sans anybody else. Kind of like you're dictating as opposed to leading. That you're the emperor of the city instead of the servant of the city.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
anybody that know my heart
we
knows
didn't
that I
hear
am a
any-
servant leader of this community, and I would stand on that, and I would challenge anyone to say anything different than that. I definitely serve as the pleasure of the people, and I thank God for that opportunity. So for you to even try to put something like that in the atmosphere is
And then
disingenuous.
the fact that this council was not advised at all what you were going for and doing
Well, I called you.
is
Councilwoman.
another,
I called you,
yeah, I got your
Councilwoman, you
message.
don't
I got your
answer the
message,
phone,
but
so-
that was after the fact.
I called you
So,
before, too.
the problem is once again, we are supposed to be the checks and balances, just like you say you've got this job you're supposed to do and everything. We have a job we're supposed to do too, and we have
Right.
not been allowed to do that job since you took
But it's not
office.
managing me.
And it is, we're not trying to manage, but those
So,
things
I
that we
understand what you're
are
saying, but you don't have-
responsible for, we need to be advised of.
You're not responsible for the department heads, I am.
I didn't say we despise it. We do contracts, we do negotiations, we do money.
Yeah, I
And we're
understand.
not allowed to weigh in on these things before you arbitrarily make those
It's
decisions.
not arbitrarily, it's per the charter.
Let me just say that this whole thing has smelled from the beginning, okay?
Mhm.
And you and David Jones spinning things for us is not making it any easier.
Ma'am, I don't know what is hard about it. Our chief AC has actually been in the city of Inkster all of his life. And he started as an explorer at 14 years old in the Inkster Police Department.
And he
And he
was
rose through
welcome
the
to
ranks.
put
He's
in his
he's an
application
assistant
and
chief of
apply with the
police.
rest of the qualified
And
people.
And I have the right to appoint who I want as chief of police. And he is my chief. And I stand by him and I support him 100%.
And once again, you're doing what you always do, saying, I'm the mayor. And that's your only justification for doing
Ma'am, it's per
bad
the
things.
charter, ma'am, not anything else. Not that I'm just saying,
Show me. Show me where
it's
it
per the
says that.
charter, ma'am.
Show me where it says that in the charter.
Ma'am, you've been on council how long?
Yeah, and I'm fine. I just want you
You
to
are
show
part
me,
of
just
actually
read it to
making
me
this
right
position
now.
what
You're
it is.
basing
So
all
what are
your
we saying?
opinions on what happened here. Show me now, because you refer to the charter all the time. Then you get David Jones to spin what the charter says. Like, because it
He's
doesn't
not
say
spinning what the
shall,
charter says.
it says will, he can do it. I'm at a
I'm not here-
loss
I'm not
here.
here
I
to
really
debate.
am, because all I want to do is my job, and I've been
Correct.
prevented from doing that since day one.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm speaking.
Councilman Williams, you'll have your chance.
Yeah, you'll get your chance.
Hold on one second, Councilman. Thank you.
I'm just gonna caution this body.
Well, the attorney's already done that already, so if we're gonna continue on.
Maybe we need to re-caution it again. I don't think that the personnel of the chief should be discussed in the public meeting.
I tried to do it privately. That was
Councilwoman Wiley,
rejected
you
too.
still have the floor. Did you have anything else?
So I am looking for,
Okay.
yes, I do have some other things.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, the one of them was, hang on a second, let me get my paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, this was all about the contract you had for, but my other thing is that we are accountable to the people. This council is accountable to the people. And when they call us, we have to be able to tell them what is transpiring in this city. We are the ones where 4 votes can countermand anything that happens here. And we don't use those votes for what's necessary. Now, he may be the mayor, but we are the checks. We are supposed to be able to countermand or to stop anything we feel is unwarranted in this city. We need to start exercising the power we have to make sure that things aren't destroyed. And that's it.
All right. Councilman Shaw, anything?
I didn't get I'm trying to get the account number for the last vote.
account number.
If that can be placed onto the agenda as well.
Okay. Right, I know that we did discuss that. City Clerk, did we say we had it in the packet?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what he,
To actually, you want the account number on the actual agenda item, right up under the item? Makes sense, okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Bivens, City Treasurer. Okay, we'll make sure that that's done.
Road patrol on Harrison and Greenwood, even though I noticed that railroads, we have some slowdowns, but we still have folks that still like to do it. And also, I'm gonna encourage everyone, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. This is an actual great help to our city to keep us safe. And also, I just want to send a shout out to the Inkster Funketeers. I see them, and I just want to shout out to them, and it's a great thing that the city is honoring these legends. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Man, that was awesome too, and they coming out the woodworks. I didn't know that Benny and the Jets were from Inkster. So Benny and the Jets, I didn't know that they were from Inkster. They saw the actual, what was it, an interview, kind of like a little interview type of documentation type of deal.
Channel 4.
On Channel 4, yeah, and they were like, we from Inkster too, Benny and the Jets. I didn't know that. Okay, all right. Yeah, I got a lot of people from Inkster. All right, Councilwoman Washington.
Keep it short, just want to say thank you to, code enforcement. We had a abandoned car on Central Street for maybe actually a month or two that I'm getting calls about. And, called Sergeant Wash, he went out and actually got the car removed, so I wanted to say thank you for that. And then also, on that same street, we do have a really big tree trunk, so I'm not sure if that would be code enforcement that would address that.
It's on Central.
It's a big tree that sits in the middle of the, it's like right in front, it's like blocking everybody from where they can, for them to actually park.
Where is it at again?
On Central Street.
Central.
I have to give you the addresses. I can, give you the address.
Send it to Officer Wall. Send it to Officer
Yeah,
Wall.
okay.
Okay.
And then, also just wanted to, also share this information in regards to COVID-19 home test. You can order up to 4 at-home COVID-19 tests by going to special.usps.com/test kits. You can order free tests over the phone by calling the COVID-19 vaccination hotline at 1-800-232-0233. And also, there will be a mass distribution in the community. That number is 888-535-6136, and you'll be able to pick up free N95 mask for you and your family. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Williams?
Yes, I would just like to, get an update on, we talked way back and I hear no more about it, but the fire hydrants that we supposed to be going through the city, and I would like to know, where we're at on that. I'm hoping this year, when the weather break, they will be able to do all our fire hydrants. And let me say this, as a council person, it gave me a great pleasure to work with the chief that we had here in the city of Inkster. And I am reaching out to work with the new chief that we have here in the city of Inkster. I just like to say this is the mayor's appointment, so therefore I respect that. And I think that, we as a council person, we know what our lanes are and we need to stay in them. And I'll just say that, okay, as a council person, policymakers, maybe if we dissatisfied with some things, maybe we need to be making some establishment or some adjustment on our policies. Keep that in mind. That's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilman Chisholm?
Yes, thank you. Well, just a couple things. One thing, I did get the email from your assistant, Mr. Alsanad, in regards to the insurance meeting that I had requested. As recent as this morning, my schedule changed. I can no longer do early morning meetings Monday through Friday. So, I mean, unless you want to do it like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. But that's not happening because I ain't getting up. But I did want to just formally let you know, so I will be reaching back out to him so we can try to solidify something on that.
Okay, whatever works though, because I know it is important for us to get together on that.
Absolutely.
So anytime.
In some recent talks I had with, I'm just going to use liaisons because I don't know their official title, with U.S. Senator Gary Peters' office, I did allude to the fact that I have never had the opportunity to meet him face to face. And they took what I said and read between the lines and said, it looks like we need to get the senator down to the district. So hopefully in the near future, there'll be some type of event, whether it's a coffee engagement. I can't even think of no names right now. But whether it's a coffee engagement or something like that, whether it's in Inkster or in the district, as soon as that information is forthcoming, I'll be sure to share it so we all can attend and maybe interact with the senator and voice our concerns on the U.S. level, even though we already know we talk with Rep. Tlaib a lot. But it's good to be able to talk to both sides of the legislature at the U.S. level. And then thirdly, I did speak with you when you had called me to inform me either right before or right after the memo went out that Chief Riley had retired. You explained the situation. And I didn't have any questions at that time. I did tell you that. And I told you should anywhere be forthcoming, I would let you know. I did get kind of confused though when Attorney Jones said that everything hadn't actually been resolved. So I guess I would just like an update on that as in the future or whenever, or what's going on and why it hadn't been resolved, because I thought everything was solidified. Surface wise, it did look like that.
Right, yeah, I think it was just, as it relates to his employment contract, it was, as him retiring, does he get retirement benefit from the city? From my understanding, when he was hired in, he, did not, get one. So that was kind of what we're going through right now, and David is spearheading that, just to make sure that we get him everything that he deserves.
All right, thank you.
For service. You're welcome. So we will give you an update, this whole councilmatic body, as soon as that happens. Mayor Pro Tem Howard?
Hi, it won't be long. My first statement I would like to Nerds Express. I know we did talk about that 2 weeks ago. Have they given you a report that the council, well, maybe I asked for a dollar amount?
Yeah, remember I said we're gonna bring them back the 1st of March.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, 1st of March?
Yep, the 1st of March.
Okay, so they on month to month until then, correct?
Yes, as it relates to, and we're not going above the 5,000. Now, that's, one thing that we have been talking about as it relates to making sure we have those invoices and splitting them off. And if it, it's something that comes up over that, then we bring it to the councilmatic body so you guys know what it is, where it's at, and all that good stuff. So they're coming back to us just as it relates to what you would ask for. What it is, it's gonna bring us up to where we need to be.
Okay. Also too, I'd like to give a shout out to our DPS for the snow removal this last couple of days. I woke up and the street was done, so thank you to all DPS. And I know that I'm not even sure how long they were out, but
They started at 4 a.m.
they were out. When I got up the next morning, my street was done. So thank you, Jerome, and your crew. The audit report, has that been completed yet? Because we have not gotten our books. Normally what they would do is give us a report.
Yep, for sure. And I know that Brian had spoke on that a little bit, but Treasurer, if you could please.
Okay, so is there a reason why, for the last 4 years, 5 years, they've been late. I'm not sure what's going on. I know
This time it was COVID. They
COVID.
said that they were out and because they, wasn't coming in, and so that was what they said on their end.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing from us, because we pretty much just stayed on
So
top of it.
last time we was waiting on housing.
Right, yep, yep.
So does the state know that? So we
Yes.
won't get fined or whatever
Yes,
because we
ma'am.
have not turned in our,
Yes, ma'am,
okay.
we are in communications with them.
okay, all right. And I did send you an email and I haven't gotten any.
I replied back.
Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
It has the resume attached to it as well.
okay, so are we looking for
Yes,
an
but,
HR?
yes, ma'am, but let me say this again, I think, as it relates to just the retention of that position, and this comes from the consultant, and then, of course, from us just seeing the everyday work of HR, we need to look at upping the salary from the 51,000 a year to at least 70, 75 a year.
Oh, I ain't have no problems with that, but we have money we can move it over there though.
Plus, we need to add a part-time person there, or a full-time person there as it relates to a generalist.
Well, I don't
The
think
work is what it is.
I don't think any of this body would complain to take money from other places in general fund that we can't take to make that whole, because that's our number one.
Yep, for sure.
I mean, if we don't have that,
Yep.
we don't have it.
Well, we learned from the last time that we went through this, so we do have an administrative approach with all of our administrative assistants, all of them working in conjunction with the treasurer's office, working in conjunction with DM payroll. Remember, we went to DM payroll so they could do some of those HR functions, especially when it comes to taxation and things of that nature. So we haven't had any lapse per se. My executive assistant, Safe House, and I have been doing a really good job as leading up the executive team. And then the new generalist that has come in, she's excellent. And she graduates in April with her bachelor's degree in HR. So we're just trying to see, where we can
Well,
still.
I
balance ourselves.
just feel, like I said before, I'm very passionate about that department.
Yeah, we
And
got to dig for the money.
we can have people come in here, but if they're not qualified to do the job, then it's gonna reflect out on us.
Oh, for sure.
So we need to fill that position ASAP.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I had, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so and let me just say this, based on our workshop, we are looking, as much as we possibly can. And I think we had a really good workshop with the councilmatic body. We're looking forward to coming back again, within the next couple of months. But in between time, we want to make sure you guys are engaging with your treasurer and talking to him. You may see something that, is something that you got a question about, whether we need to do that. Like for me, for instance, having in the mayor's budget, 15,000 for travel, for conferences and workshops. That's not gonna happen with COVID, right, this year, So for me, let's pull that out and see where we can put that into other places, so. That's what I'm saying. That I was just giving an example, okay? All right, then, so I wanted to also just give a shout out to DPW. I mean, man, you guys worked it, man. And then to all the citizens too, that, worked with us, because we had a lot of citizens that were out volunteering as it relates to, working with our seniors, our sick and shut in. We really appreciate that. I got fired from DPW. I was out trying to clean the sidewalks. I got the notice today that I can no longer participate in DPW, but, we just try to give a hand where we can. Let me say, I just wanted to congratulate DPW also too. They did a grant for our speed bumps, which, and Steve, I'm gonna probably need Steve, and I'm saying Steve and Legina now, as it relates to your positions, with the state to probably help us push this along, because we received, or we're going to receive, Mr. Bivens, is it 83,000 for speed bumps?
80,000.
Oh, just 80,000. 80,000 for speed bumps that we identified through the police department, through the process of people calling in, saying, hey, my street, they're speeding, whatever it is, the councilmatic body, we're saying that, people are speeding. So in those areas, we identified those streets, again, through the police department. We sent it to the state, and the state said, okay, we're gonna grant you this amount of money to do speed bumps. However, and this is where I need you guys' help at, they're not talking about giving us the money until when, Jerome?
2023.
Why?
And that's what I need for you to talk to Mr. Bivens about. But in the meantime, in between time, because of what we did with Consumers Energy and allowing them to use the space over at Middlebelt in Inkster High School, that's 100,000 sitting there. So I'm gonna be coming before this body with a presentation of the speed bumps, where they're gonna be going, looking at possibly using that money to front us to this year, so we can get those speed bumps installed this year. And then you guys can help us find out if we can get that money sooner.
Can you forward us the award letter?
Yeah, so we'll do the whole body. I wanted to bring that up to your attention tonight, okay? And I think We're pretty good. Again, just gearing up for spring. We know we're in the winter months right now. February is pretty short. You know, happy Black History Month. Just staying up on our history as it relates to being African American in the city of Inkster. We have a lot of talent, as we talked about the Funketeers and just all types of people. But anyway, just want to make sure that we're just keeping connected with one another, just taking care of one another. It's important that we lead by example as it relates to taking care of our community. So I concur with Councilman Shaw when he says, if you see something, say something. If you see something out that don't belong somewhere, say something. Pick it up, clean it up. That's what we're here to do in the city of Inkster. Call for adjournment?
One more question, Mr. Mayor.
Please.
Remember I gave you that ballot? Did you go through it?
Ballot.
Where I received in the mail, and it was a petition, and they wanted you to fill out, and it was about the elections. Did you give that to the city clerk? Remember? It was I got something in the mail.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did you give it to the city
No,
clerk
no, no.
so she can?
I'm actually going through that now myself because I was like, yeah, what is this? So I'd actually called a couple of my other mayors and
Okay, well, you want to talk about it, or are you?
you can.
Well, I received a letter in the mail, and it had blank ballots in it. And I'm not sure what the form all said, but they're going to try to pass this law. To vote, you have to give a form of ID, social security number. I'm not sure if everybody got this. But I gave it to the mayor because I wanted him to share it with the public, because so many ballots are being signed out here when you go to the grocery store. Please, if you have to sign ballots, please read them, because that's where they're at, that's where they're going. But on this ballot, and once he gives it next week, he could probably
I'll make sure
give word for word what it says.
Junk mail.
But part of it is saying that they want us to provide a partial of our social security number in order to vote. So, but I just want the people to be aware when they're out and the people come up to them and say, I want you to sign this petition. Please read it before you sign it. Even though if you don't have time, please read it. And I was concerned that it probably would get passed because a lot of us don't read. You know, we're all in a hurry and we just sign, oh, it's for the good, okay, and keep it going. But this is serious. So when he gets finished with it, he can, in the city clerk can elaborate it a little bit more. But it came through, I got it. I'm not sure if anyone else in the city of Inkster got that in the mail, but just be cautious. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor Tim, for sharing that. Yes, ma'am.
Just one more thing, what Mayor Pro Tem is talking about is the set of voting rights bills that are in the federal government now, part of Biden's package as well, because voter suppression is going on everywhere, and that's one of the aspects of it. So maybe you want to forward that to Councilwoman Washington to take to, what's her name? But those things are out there, and that's one of the things they're fighting now, and they're asking you to write your Congress people about that. So.
Good. Thank you so much.
Oh, and one other thing.
Yes, ma'am.
My lane is the city of Inkster, okay?
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Nobody's arguing against that. It's all right. I got tough skin. We good. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to let everybody know auto insurance refund checks are coming soon. In December, the MCCA announced it will refund Michigan policyholders $400 per vehicle or $80 per historical vehicle for each vehicle that was insured under a policy that meets the minimum insurance requirements for operating a vehicle on Michigan roads on October 31st, 2021. So those actual $400 checks or reimbursements will be going back to people by March the 9th, 2022.
All right, more money from the government.
Mayor, I am so sorry.
Go ahead.
But are we going to have to pay that back like we had to pay back the money we got from, I mean, everything they give us, we pay back.
Nothing for free.
Nothing for free.
Take that question back.
Sure. All right, motion to adjourn?
So move.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, nay, you can stay. Meeting adjourned. Mr. Ellis. So,